the juice, I don't sip from the flash. Still on the move, on the spirit of my gas. I'm on me, you can check out the glass. Never won't smoke, I'm prepared for the class. Juice in my veins like I'm post-fat charge. Got on my side, I don't got it at card. Pressure was real, the anointing been large. I walk in the light like a drip of a star. Cause I got the juice, I got the juice, I got the juice, I got the juice, I got the juice. Broken wall, my thoughts had a bind. He flesh in my ear like spit for the county. Bitch said chill, but the trigger was tempting. Whole lot of demons in the section I'm stepping. Brain got a drum or a hole like a stick. Bang for the Lord, every ride gon' hit. Close to the slide, it was running like that. I carry that text like a windshield whip. Flex said flex, feel said rest. I was 10 toes down in the spiritual test. Came from the dirt, still cleaner than most. Flesh won't toast, but the spirit won't boast. Devil told laws, I be catching that purr. That's over revenge, but the Lord says purr. Bash like collar with the engine on red. Put it in park after old me dead. I got the juice, I don't sip from no flash. Still on the move, on the spirit of my gas. I'm on me, you can check out the glass. Never won't smoke, I'm prepared for the class. Juice in my veins like I'm post-fat charge. Got on my side, I don't got it at card. Pressure was real, the anointing been large. I walk in the light like a drip of a star. Cause I got the juice, I got the juice, I got the juice, I got the juice. Gave me the juice, but it came with the blessing. Guess so many nights turned pain into blessing. Bliss won't place, I just wanted confessions. The fear won't dip, so I dug through the lessons. Wasn't no cap in my knee when I bow. Fear said speak, so I pray it out loud. Old crew slid, so I switched my crowd. Covered with saints, not chasing the cloud. Bliss said spin, spirit said build. Bliss said feast, spirit said steal. Bliss said slide, spirit said kneel. Now I'm bulletproof, walking in the king's wheel. I got that goat like a Moses to sin. Bible in hand, that's a loaded in 10. All in my cup like it came from the prison. Ain't chasing no fame, just battle the flesh. I got the juice, I don't sip from no flash. Still on the move, on the spirit of my gas. I'm on me, you can check out the glass. Never won't smoke, I'm prepared for the class. Juice in my veins like I'm post-fat charge. Got on my side, I don't got it at card. Pressure was real, the anointing been large. I walk in the light like a drip of a star. Cause I got the juice, I got the juice, I got the juice, I got the juice. I don't sip from the flash. Holy Spirit, my gas. On me, you can check out the glass. Devil won't smoke, I'm prepared for the clash. Juice in my veins like a post-fat charge. God on my side, I don't gotta act hard.
Culinary art school, I'm gonna put the heat to Pan. He know what's coming his way. I want to talk about that Pan-African shit when he was talking about Afro-Ukrainians, Afro-Sri Lankans. I want to talk about that, man. I think this dude got a serious race problem. I want to have a discussion, a debate about that, man. Put that on the line. You believe that race connects all these people, that they're all the same? Afro-Sri Lankans are the same? You think Afro-Ukrainians, everybody's the same? Is that what you think, man? What's connecting all these people? Your idea of race. Is the idea of race even real? Is that something tangible? Is that something that we can look and examine?
Lucifer, the devil is at your door. Talk to him.
Yeah, you know what it is. Super Pan Man Wild as the Taliban. Salute everybody in the audience. Salute the Pan fans. Salute my opponent. Salute his fan. What was he talking about? But yeah, I don't address cousin. He can see me in the ring and get his head knocked off. It's just nothing. He's just another victim. And his pomp and circumstance that he's trying to come in is just gonna make it. It's gonna make it harder for his ego after I whoop his ass.
This October, the mind games return. Two of the most dangerous thinkers in the Versus series step into the arena. Lucifer, the rebel intellect who questions everything. Standing in the way of the devil's glory is Pan, the reigning world champion, the Pan-African hero of the people, who must become something unholy to face something unholy. Enter Candy Pan. But can the champion's alter ego stand against the most sinister debater in the Versus series? The topic? Is race fake? One says race is the illusion, The other says it's an undeniable part of reality. On October 24th, only one truth survives, Night of the Living Arguments, where weak arguments go to die. Night of the Living Arguments Night to October 25th. This Halloween season, the scriptures shake, and the spirits of doctrine rise from the grave. Mr. Debate Mania himself, Big Himmy, the biblical barbarian, returns, sword in hand, ready to defend the faith with fire and fury. But standing across the stage, cloaked in mystery and ancient knowledge, the anonymous, Hebrew the unseen scholar rises from the shadows to challenge the very roots of Christianity itself. The topic: do the writings of the Apostolic Fathers corrupt biblical Christianity? When belief meets bloodshed and conviction faces corruption, only one will leave the arena standing. Night of the Living Arguments, where weak doctrines go to die, October 25th, the Versus Series Debate League. Be there or be buried.
Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. Y'all know what it is. It's your brother DMG the Poet, aka Brother Pianki. I had to show my man Steve the type of promos that's gonna be behind him if he come over here to the Versus series. You hear me? That being said, my man got something that he about to lay down for y'all, but before he do, y'all know I gotta do my usual spiel. So allow me to say Hotep to my Kemetic brothers and sisters. God bless to my Christian brothers and sisters. Shalom to my Israelite brothers and sisters. Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. I want to say assalamu alaikum to all my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Peace to my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earth, them 5%ers. I want to say what's up to all my atheist brothers and sisters. Salute to all my Abo brothers and sisters. I want to say what's up to all my Naga brothers and sisters. Shout out to all my Owaspy brothers and sisters. Big salute to all my Rasta brothers and sisters. Last and certainly not least, I want to say Jumbo to all the rest of my brothers and sisters all throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know why I say that greeting is for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you're Black, I'm with you, and I hope you with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting. We can have unity without uniformity, and we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. Now, I know that last part is the hardest part, but we're going to get there. That being said, my brother, please reintroduce yourself to the Paradigm Shift TV 314 audience.
Hotep, everyone. Right now, I'm repping Info Warriors. My name is Steve Caballero, aka my Kemetic name is Kha Maa Hetep, he who rises through the 11 laws in peace. I just want to say big up to Info Warriors, Naga, Craig Shrugs, all the people, you know, Ratchet Craigs, the folks, Google Scholar, the folks past, even Silky D. And yeah, I'm open for a good debate. Now, as you can see, I have on red, black, and green. I am similar to DMG, and I would think others as well. As long as you Black, I'm with it. We may have different, but one thing sometimes is the rhetoric, right? So especially sometimes the religious rhetoric, when I say that there's only one God, sometimes that could lead to contention. But, you know, we're all here under the sun on the same planet, and we're attempting to celebrate each other, to celebrate Black culture, and to celebrate ourselves as Black people. And I am 100% with that. Yes, we can agree to disagree and be civil through the entire process. But I am Kemetic, And I've written a book. The title of my book is The Third Coming of Spiritual Liberation. And my Kemetic name is Kha Maa Hetep. I still go by my government, Steve Caballero.
Hey, do me a favor, bro. Do me a favor. I don't mean to interrupt you. Say that Kemetic name. Say that Kemetic name one more time.
Kha Maa Hetep. Kha Maa Hetep.
Hey, if my teacher Baba Saber or Maurice Neferu was here, he'll be making that face like, "Ooh, that's a powerful name." I can hear him saying that right now. Go ahead. I ain't mean to cut your wisdom.
Not a problem. He who rises through the 11 laws in peace. Yeah. So, I mean, in the Kemetic tradition, you know, in the tree of life, it's a matter of attaining, evolving spiritually. I know I had a debate just recently about evolution, and in my book, I attempted to question, you know, or compare spiritual liberation versus spiritual liberation. And in Western academia, I am trained, and that's what we cover mostly in Western academia: physical evolution. But what is lacking in the society that we live in is that spiritual evolution. So physical evolution versus spiritual evolution, and that's what the ancients were about. The ancients were about, you know, evolving spiritually, and that's challenging for some people to comprehend. Would you like me to start the presentation, DMG?
Yeah, whenever you're ready to start, man, let the people know what it is you're getting into.
All right, it's a critique of my book, and I have about 4 slides, and then, you know, we could start with question and answers after that. So spiritual versus physical evolution. So I went on, you know, like in my debate, I mentioned the evolution of computers. And when I first, believe it or not, when I first wrote the book about 3-4 years ago and I published it, there really wasn't Chat GPT like that. So now I went on Chat GPT and I asked Chat GPT, a co-pilot, to critique my book. And this is what AI said. So that first paragraph right there about spiritual versus physical evolution. Hetep argues that while physical evolution is often treated as an academic pursuit, spiritual evolution is a lived experience that leads to liberation of the mind and soul, deja vu. So some folks may say, well, then spirituality cannot be tested in the laboratory, therefore it's not scientific. And that's, I understand that statement to be due to indoctrination and a lack of understanding of what science is. Of course, you could take lived experiences internalize it into your inner self, into your inner person or your inner man, and just ask yourself questions like how have particular spiritual practices. They may be religious and they may not religious. How have they impacted your life? But that's what it is. Sometimes we don't ask ourselves genuinely pressing questions, and we don't attempt to, as the ancients have said, learn, know thyself. But as I continued to say during that debate about evolution is a slow, gradual change over time, as opposed to a revolution, which is a more rapid change. The weighing of the heart symbolism. So in the Kemetic tradition, if I just jump to this slide right here. So right here, we see some of the so-called Kemetic deities, like, for example, Thoth and so-called Sebek and Sobek. But there we have a scale. And on one side of the scale is the heart, and the other side of that scale is a feather. Some people say, they may not be that familiar with the Kemetic tradition, they say that happens only at death. And, you know, I would question, well, then who's judging me at death? I know that this image right here is not only at death, but it's a daily occurrence. To attempt to have the heart be as light as a feather. And who is judging us? Someone else may be judging them, but the only one that's judging me. I judge myself on a daily basis, minute by minute, second by second, while awake and also asleep. In my experience, my spiritual experience of life, it's this self-critique and self-analysis on an ongoing basis in order to have my heart remain as light as a feather by not committing sin, so to speak. Also, in some texts, they say, you know, that sin is for those who know what is right to do and do it not for them that is sin. What's implied there is that sin can be something social or something cultural, depending on the culture that we're a part of. If that particular action is shunned or looked down upon when you commit it, if you were to do that thing, now it's considered to be a sin, and it starts to weigh heavy on our heart. It starts to weigh heavy on the conscience. And when these actions start to weigh heavy on the conscience, it becomes more challenging to experience spiritual liberation. And so that is a little introduction to my understanding of what spiritual liberation is about. It's not necessarily about, you know, continually sinning, but doing something that's against societal norms, and then it starts to weigh heavy on the heart and weigh heavy on the conscience, and it becomes more challenging to experience liberation spiritually. Then evolution does not question the existence of God, gods, deities, ancestors, angels, or saints. Being an evolutionist is not synonymous, the same as being an atheist. And based on my last debate, that's the other thing. Some people assume because you understand evolution and you can talk about evolution, just because you understand science, that does not mean you're an atheist. Science does not question the existence of gods, goddesses, deities, ancestors, angels, or saints. That's not what science is about. Science is the search for knowledge. So because I'm a creationist, but also I know science, people automatically assume that I'm an atheist. I'm not an atheist. I am a creationist. But if you're going to debate and you're going to step up to the plate, then do some research and understand what you're talking about. And sometimes sometimes people don't do that. So Charles Darwin did not invent the term evolution. He coined the phrase natural selection. In his later days, Charles Darwin did become an atheist. Physical evolution. In Western academia, Charles Darwin is taught to be the father of natural selection. I had a debate also with Google Scholar about Charles Darwin. I don't particularly favor the man based on the things that he said. I'm also an Afrocentrist, so I don't only study European history. I also study African history, and I look at things often from an Afrocentric worldview. In that debate about Charles Darwin, I don't particularly favor the man based on the things that he said, and I'm not going to go over what he said again. Okay. It is also Western academia that popularizes and teaches the Darwinian concept that modern humans, Homo sapiens sapiens, particularly Black Africans, physically evolved from great apes and are most similar to those apes. Modern genetics tells a different narrative, however. That's what, sometimes when you study in Western academia, they don't directly say that, but that's what's implied. That's what's insinuated at times. Then we have spiritual evolution. It is implied that evolution is a slow, gradual, is a slow ascension into positive change and progression. Spirit is energy that animates physical entities and existence. In a debate, I won't quote the debate or name the debate specifically. It was said that God is a spirit, but what is spirit? I say that spirit is energy, right? Because when we die, our spirit leaves us and then we're no longer animated. That's one example. So I'm saying that spirit is energy, or the Ra, or the Chi, that is the spirit Ancient non-Western traditions and lifestyle science tends to perceive life occurrences as interconnected. When I say ancient, I mean non-Western, right? Life occurrences as interconnected and interrelated holistic endeavors. So in African traditions or non-Western traditions tend to be more holistic than Western academia. And it's not until like later on in life when we become more learned that we can now start to synthesize the different disciplines, start to bring together history and science and sociology or medicine, start to bring these different disciplines together in our minds and sometimes in our life to share with other people a more holistic perspective, but definitely in academia, that's not done. We very often it's about isolating this discipline over there and that discipline over there, and this one has nothing to do with that. For example, saying that spirituality is a science. Well, for the masses, you see, the masses have trouble grappling that spirituality is a science and can be studied as a science because they have been indoctrinated. What they have also been indoctrinated with is that if you know evolution or you can speak about evolution, you're also an atheist. That is indoctrination. That is not true. Many scientists are religious. Many scientists are Christians or Jews or doctors are scientists, and they're not atheists. Through communicating with the energetic spirit world of deities, ancestors, and angels, Black Africans were able to evolve themselves into an alternate state of existence, as evidenced by the megalithic temples and historical writings etched in stone. Yes, so some of the things, sometimes today, some of the things that we use to experience altered states, it's not used. It is ritual in the sense that it's habitual, but it's not ritual in the sense that it's used to experience altered states to bring the individual, and I'm generalizing, bring the individual to a higher state of consciousness. In ancient societies and other societies, those hallucinogens, or some of the things that are more popular today, they were also used. Today it is ritual, but it's not ritualistic in the sense to, again, bring the individual to a higher state of consciousness. In the past, those experiences that someone might have while under the influence of a hallucinogen, which is still used today. Later on, I start to talk about the universe. When we have these particular experiences, it's not totally imaginary, because the universe is very broad, and sometimes in these rituals. So what I'm saying is that the African, right, the original human, the way that we evolved ourselves spiritually is through our holistic practices. And yes, we can have these practices without the use of hallucinogens. It could be just drumming and going into trance and encountering, having particular experiences. Then it can also involve hallucinogens. And I would not disregard any experience that anyone has had, because that's their personal experience. And we've all had those experiences, whether atheist or what have you, we have all had those experiences. Some of us, we may or may not draw it up to something that's spiritual, but we all have experienced deja vu. We all have more senses than just the five senses, right? It's not just empirical. We also have higher senses. And in the past, it was about cultivating those higher senses so we can become more evolved spiritually. Yes, DMG, are you there? Do you have any questions for me, or would you like me to continue?
I'm gonna let you continue, and then I do have a few questions.
Well, you could stop me at any moment. So that was the first slide there. That was when AIs summed it up as, yes, my book does talk about spiritual versus physical evolution, and oftentimes us here we've been educated in Western academia, all we know of is physical evolution. And because someone can talk about physical evolution, that means that they're an atheist. No, not necessarily. Okay, so I'll continue. All right.
If I may,
Yes.
one of the things you said that kind of stood out to me was the automatic assumption that because someone may speak on a particular aspect of evolution, they must be an atheist.
Right.
Elaborate a little bit more on why you think that is, particularly amongst our people, and how has it been difficult for you to be taken seriously because you may not fit that atheist criteria?
I could say it's due to miseducation and propaganda. Whether it's propaganda coming from the church or whether it's propaganda, and I have nothing against Abrahamic religion. It's just wrong assumptions, right? So,
and brother, I won't take offense to anything you say about Christianity. You are a guest. As long as you're not saying to me you're an idiot for XYZ,
no.
Please feel free to speak freely about whatever belief, whatever critiques of whatever belief you have, including mine.
Right, because So I have sat there and I've heard things coming from the pulpit that aren't true. So it's just an assumption, and in school, in academia, no one questions that. So my time in academia, my time in college and grad school, and also as a teacher in the classroom, that wasn't a topic. So I used to have to explain to my students, because they used to tell me, "Mister, aren't you an atheist? You're teaching evolution." I said, "No, I'm not an atheist. I'm a creationist." And as another channel was talking about how science, how the contradiction, or what is the conflict, what is the argument? The argument is, or the debate is, what did everything begin with? Did it begin with chaos, or did it begin with order? And generally, if you're a creationist, you would say that it began with order. The issue is that not all of us have this understanding, right? Some of us, we come from an Abrahamic perspective, and we say, that the creator made this and the creator made that, and that's how it was meant to be, and it never changed, and that's how it is. But it's my understanding that, yes, the creator did do that, but also the creator made it with the intention for it to change. Because if it doesn't change, how is it going to survive? So you asked me about, being able to explain evolution, but still being a creationist, because it's from, I would say, to some extent, it's from a non-Abrahamic perspective, and it's also from a scientific perspective. And science does not question the existence of a creator. That's not what science is about. And that's the misunderstanding that we have. So is it a dichotomy? It might be challenging for some people to understand, but when we study science, we don't question the existence of a creator. We just study science, right? So I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you definitely did. You definitely did. What do you think when you see people like my versus series academic champion, Cedric Ortega, which, you know, judging from the astuteness I'm picking up from you, if you were to come over to the Versus series as a debater, representing Info Warriors, of course, that would be a title I would think you would be interested in, because the focus of the academic title is to have more academic or academia related information being disseminated, whereas in the regular Versus series divisions, you know, things can be more of an opinion based belief based situation. With the academic title, we want to focus on disseminating more scholarly information. And my man Cedric holds that title, and he is saying a lot of things in the chat. Pseudo, no atheist or scientist takes you seriously. So you don't teach evolution, period. What do you make of comments like that coming from somebody that's
being called pseudo doesn't bother me in the least. It doesn't matter to me whether scientists take me seriously. So the other part is that, so if someone is sharing their life experience with me, just out of respect, I'm going to listen to them, and I won't attempt to dispel what they're telling me, because I'm not all knowing. I don't know everything, and my experience is not someone else's experience, right? So being called pseudo, that doesn't particularly bother me. I spent years in Western academia. I do have a degree. I spent time in the classroom, and I had to teach evolution. My students were successful. My students passed the Regents exam in New York State, as a matter of fact, and my students also passed AP biology. So to say, well, then, I wouldn't say that he's saying I'm not credentialed, but to say that the scientific community wouldn't take me seriously, I'm not attempting for the scientific community to take me seriously. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me, I'm retired now and I collect a pension. That's what to some, and what also matters to me is to have a voice and to present a different perspective. One perspective that may be considered to be scholarly. Now, folks, they not signing my check. I'm also an entrepreneur. So they could say whatever pleases them. Yes, DMG.
All right. Hey, listen. I'm gonna let you continue, and then when we open it up for the chat, sure, maybe we'll see what unfolds. But yeah, I'll stop you again when I have more questions. I'm sure some will pop up.
Sure, not a problem. Thank you so much, DMG the poet. So, traditional spiritual practices. The book critiques modern societies for dismissing ancient spiritual customs as superstition, emphasizing that these traditions offer profound insights into humanity's divine purpose. You see, in today's society, nothing is divine. It's all, or nothing is sacred. We don't hold anything sacred. Right. The only thing that we may hold sacred is money and material possessions. Yeah, we don't really hold many things sacred anymore. And it's not, we may say it's about achieving divinity, but very often we don't even know what divinity is. So in modern Western society, it is not about becoming a divine being. It is about acquiring material possessions and being materialistic and being, to some extent, being greedy. So biased Abrahamic colonizers and dominant patriarchal Western European traditions and cultures label the religion and spiritual practice of others as superstitious devil worship. Now, it doesn't matter to me. I've been called a devil on many different occasions. Historically, I've been labeled a devil. Why? Because I'm Black. I have no problems with it. The fact is that other groups of people are scared. They're afraid of the Black African traditional spiritual practice. They're afraid of possession, right? They say that you're being possessed by the devil, but they're afraid of that because of the things that we accomplished when we're possessed with. Some people may call it a deity. Some people may call it an ancestor. They're afraid of that because they don't understand it. And they also know that our practices are the most powerful. So
okay, hold on. Because it's not, you're going into some deep water right now. So you're saying that what Western or Abrahamic religions would consider demon possession could be something else entirely.
It's possession. Yes, it could be something else entirely because, say, for example, the Roman Catholic priest and carrying out an exorcism, right? Somebody supposedly is possessed by a demon, and here comes a Roman Catholic priest to carry out an exorcism. Okay, how is that Roman Catholic priest been living his life? What has he been doing throughout his life that enables him to now cast out a devil out of somebody? I don't want to stereotype priest.
Yeah. No, I'm with you though, because the percentage of a particular behavior in that organization, and I'm being careful how I speak, the percentage of a particular behavior within that organization from priests, you would have to think that it's a certain percentage of those people with that particular behavior going out on these type of assignments.
Right. That, for example, so again, I am a former Roman Catholic. When that priest stands there, and the body and blood of whomever, and the ritual that he's carrying out, that they deem that as being godly, right? So what they do, and what, if you're of that particular culture, you're of that particular tradition, that's godly. But what somebody else is doing is maybe considered to be demonic.
Correct. Yeah. Right. And that possibility gives those situations a lot different of a perspective when it comes to what you would traditionally think of. And it makes you wonder if some of the more disturbing elements that they described, or that we now see being portrayed in horror movies and things like that, is just propaganda against that.
Well, we could talk about the Haitian Revolution, and if that's where they began to demonize, and also through the East African slave Holocaust and the European slave Holocaust, the West African slave Holocaust. That's what they've been doing throughout, demonizing African people and saying that we worship the devil and we're demons, and therefore it's right to do these things to us, to enslave us, to because they are God chosen and they're doing the work of God. Meanwhile, I don't know, I won't speak for other people. Meanwhile, I'm the child of a devil. And in doing this to me, my ancestors are devils. So therefore, I should not praise and so-called worship or honor my ancestor. I should not venerate my ancestors because they were devils. Meanwhile, the ancestors of Caucasian people and other groups of people, no, they're divine. But my ancestors are demons and devils. And it started with the Haitian Revolution. It also started with the East African Holocaust and went to the West African Holocaust. But continually, I've been demonized. If I don't conform and do as they want me to do, then I'm a demon and I'm a devil. Just as long as I'm not practicing my traditional African spirituality, because then I'm communing with demons and devils. But that's where the power is. And you don't necessarily have to practice that. And in all truth, these folks who go to these churches behind the doors, they're still carrying out their cultural practices. They still do it.
There it is. Hey, I'm gonna let you continue, but when you said that, some kind of a bell kind of went off. But go ahead.
There's syncretism, right? So we in order to, I would say, a survive or blend in, or we have taken on some of their ways. But say, for example, in Haitian Voodoo or in Haiti, they say behind every saint there's a Loa.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's facts.
Facts. A superstition is a belief or practice that is considered irrational or supernatural. A belief can be correct or incorrect, right? So that's the thing. Don't you believe like me, my brother? Don't you have faith like me? Don't you believe like me, my brother? No, I don't believe like you. No, I don't have faith like you. Because have you questioned your own belief? Have you taken your beliefs into the laboratory, into your mental laboratory? Have you internalized your own beliefs and questioned your own beliefs? And if those beliefs turn out to be correct, well, then maybe I'll follow you. But if your beliefs are incorrect, why in the world should I follow incorrect beliefs?
Let me. So you said a belief is right or wrong, but what did you say before that?
Well, it's like a thought, right? So it says similar to a thought that enters and leaves the sphere of awareness without being analyzed. We're supposed to, right? So in other words, don't question, just believe. No, I'm going to question. I'm going to question everything, right? And that's what we as debaters and we as people living in the 25th century, in 2025, in the 21st century, that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be questioning everything. Don't just take things at face value.
Hey, Cedric, listen, man, that academic belt. Hey, I think you got one right here, Cedric. I think you got one, man. That academic title, hey, when Steve sees it, he might think it look good on his shoulder, bro.
Yeah, so today, what's going on today? What they call it? When folks, they just hear things on the internet and then they go running. They don't research. They don't look into it. Like, for example, we can talk about about a Pizzagate and things like that. About what I forget. It'll come to me. But what's
Epstein Island and all of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, some of it is truth, but others of it is not based in. It's not based in with conspiracy theories. Why do we have issues with conspiracy theories, right? So I also get into mass control, right, and the deception. All of these conspiracy theories because people are mentally lazy. And they always want to be an expert on anything. So the first thing they come across on the internet or Facebook, then they start repeating that. And then now what is a conspiracy theory? It's something that we have not researched. We did not go into, we just repeat it. And now it becomes and now it becomes truth. Right? Like whatever. Pseudo, which is fine.
Hey, I gotta say this. Sister Ivory, I gotta get you some roses sent to the. I ain't gonna do that because you said your husband was like a MMA black belt. I ain't trying to get hemmed up, and I'm doing it only as a brother. I gotta send you some virtual roses or something for letting my man Steve come. Not letting him, but you know what I'm saying. Making this intro to me and this brother. I gotta get this brother on some more. But go ahead, bro. My bad.
Right, and that's what goes on, right? We have these and what some of us, we don't even know what a conspiracy theory is, right? But a conspiracy theory has become, in my understanding, my definition is something that we don't research. For example, so in politics, you have one group, they say culture wars. Okay, so woke. So right, a group of people started talking about woke. We knew what we meant by woke. Then it became, a culture war against being woke, right? And then also critical race theory. Critical race theory is not what they made it out to be, right? It's not a critical. I'm not even going to get into what critical race theory really is about, but because of the way that it sounds, they made it into something else, right? And being woke, but and so notice how they politicize these things and they use it to divide us, and to some extent it's conspiracy theory because we don't do the research. We just go along with it, and it's not just Black people, it's other groups of people in America as well. That's one of the major reasons why we're divided, and we'll continue to be divided, because we don't know who we are. In other words, that's supposed to beliefs have not been verified, possibly through use of the scientific method, which does not originate in Western Europe. No, the scientific method didn't come out of Western Europe. It is much older than Western Europe. Based on the definition of superstition, specific Abrahamic believers would not consider themselves to be superstition, since certain religious practices are familiar to their own culture. Christians don't consider their traditions, beliefs, and customs to be superstition. Neither do Muslims or Jews. We don't, if you're of that tradition, you don't consider what you do to be superstition. But if someone else is doing it, it's superstition for them, right? It's superstition for someone else. The implication is that the definition of superstition itself is based on xenophobia and fear and hatred of strangers or foreigners or anything perceived as strange or foreign. Because of this competitiveness and xenophobic behavior and belief in scarcity, humankind demonizes each other by saying one God is better than the next. In this, and also we have this is their spiritual text, is written into their text. So if you're indoctrinated by this text that you have a God and your God is the true God, meanwhile the person over there, they have a false God, then it's your God-given right to go over there and kill those people because their God is false and you're doing God's work. Yeah, but it seems kind of crazy, like you're in direct communication with God and God told you to go do this. Well, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, just go rob and kill them, and just don't say that God told you to do it, because in 2025, you seem like you're kind of crazy, right? God is speaking to them only. They have a direct line to God, and God is communicating with them. Meanwhile, other groups of people are communicating with the devil. This is 2025, but it still goes on today, and it's not very scientific. Let me just leave it at that. In this case, a God is simply a particular religious or spiritual practice and custom. Humankind also denies the civilizing contributions of Black Africans who use, my bad. Yes. Oh, I got it. Yes. Humankind also denies the civilizing contributions of Black Africans who use their spiritual practices to evolve themselves into divine modern humans, Homo sapiens sapiens. The fact is that whether or not we want to agree, we can disagree. As I said previously on another panel, everyone was attempting to say that they are the first modern humans. But today, based on genetic testing and also the fossil record, we know that the first modern humans, the first humans, Homo sapiens sapiens, were Black Africans. Then now they want to take away our civilizing contribution. how we civilized ourselves and how we evolved ourselves, because anatomically, physically, we were modern humans. But how did we evolve ourselves spiritually? Is through our traditional Black African traditional practices, which today is demonized. Why is it demonized? Because it's very powerful. DMG, you there? I'm on to the next slide. You have any questions for me?
My fault, brother. I was muted. Nope. Keep rocking.
Keep going. Okay. So AI also talked about the cosmic perspective, right? This is AI's critical analysis of my book. So before was, traditional spiritual practices, the book critiques modern societies for dismissing ancient spiritual customs as superstition, emphasizing that these traditions offer profound insight into humanity's divine purpose. So because there's Black people doing it, they've demonized it. Maybe talk to a voodoo practitioner, and they would help you to understand about the level of peace that they experience through their practice. Then AI also says that my book talks about a cosmic perspective. Hetep challenges the notion that Earth is the only planet with life and that humans are the pinnacle of evolution, suggesting a broader, more interconnected view of existence. My brother.
My bad, bro.
No, it's cool. My brother, we're even indoctrinated to say that Earth is the only planet where there's life. And why is that? Because I never had that experience of any other forms of life, because we're not spiritually in tune. And that's deliberate. Because if you talk about having these spiritual experiences, now you're either a demon or you're crazy. One or the other. Right? But the fact is that Earth, right? So a solar system, the collection of 8 planets and their moons in orbit around the sun, together with smaller bodies in the form of asteroids, meteoroids, and comets. The planets of the solar system are in order of distance from the sun: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. All right. So there is a solar system, right? So we are the third planet from the sun, right? Right, the Earth, right? The third rock from the sun.
Third rock from the sun.
There you go, right? and we're just one solar system, right? Then there's a galaxy, a huge cluster of gas, dust, and billions of stars and their solar systems, all held together by gravity. The next slide there, you see this is a galaxy, and our galaxy happens to be the Milky Way. This is a spiral galaxy. And in that galaxy, there's an infinite amount of stars and an infinite amount of planets, right? Then you have the universe. The universe is all of space and time and their contents. It comprises all of existence, any fundamental interaction, physical process, and physical constant, and therefore all forms of matter and energy and the structures they form from subatomic particles. So here we have an image of the universe. Now, I may be getting into metaphysics here, but yeah, I am also a metaphysical practitioner, and it may be not in, that's also AI critique my book in that sense as well. It may be unapproachable for the uninitiated masses. But in very simple terms, to understand that we're the third rock from the sun in one solar system, then here's a galaxy where we're on one of these arms in this spiral galaxy with these billions of suns and billions of planets. Then there's the universe. And you mean to tell me that we're the only forms of intelligent life in the universe or in the galaxy or in the solar system? And then added to that, we're the most advanced and we're the most evolved.
And brother, if I may,
yes, sir.
So given that they continue to say that the universe is expanding, right?
Yes.
And the what you just pointed out with regard to we the third rock from the sun, in the Milky Way galaxy, but we have this vast universe, in particular, like the Andromeda system, where our planet almost has a twin in that galaxy. Why would anybody think we the only show in town?
Because they're not having the experience, or they're afraid of the experience. They're scared.
You say they scared.
They scared, DMG. They scared. And we're indoctrinated to be scared. Right?
Yeah. That's facts. That's facts.
We would rather be scared and afraid than liberated.
Look how many, because our sentiments and a lot of the propaganda that's pumped into our system is pumped into our system through entertainment. So let's look at the movies about extraterrestrials or aliens, UFOs. Look at the percentage that are about a friendly extraterrestrial versus the ones about a hostile extraterrestrial, and not including the comedies. I'm talking about the stuff that they would have us take seriously and have some introspective thought about. It's usually a hostile extraterrestrial film versus the ET or anything of that nature. You know what I mean?
Exactly. For us to be scared. But the fact is that, okay, so in terms of spiritual evolution, these beings, they're older than us and they're more evolved than us, technologically and otherwise. So if they wanted to colonize us, if they wanted to take us over, what is stopping them? If they're like us, or if they're on that evolutionary level, I won't, well, whether physical, or I'm gonna say the pseudo word spiritual, right? If they are on that pseudo word, right? That taboo. Oh, don't say spiritual, right? But if they can't be on our level, they have to be more advanced than us. Okay, so just say technologically, they're more advanced than us, and just say that physically they have a different physical form, or maybe a similar form, or maybe the same form. So why aren't they doing to us what we do to others, what we do to other human beings on this planet? Why aren't they doing that to us right now?
Good question. Good question.
Because in order to transcend, in order to make that transition, we can't do it living in fear. We can't do it to continue to be hostile and hateful and these negative emotions. It just won't happen. Because if those entities out there, if they function the way that we function, they would be doing the same thing to us right now that we are doing to other human beings on this planet, as well as nature. They would be doing that to us right now. Why aren't they doing that? Because they have transcended this state of existence. And I beg to say this, that the ancients had also transcended this state of existence. That ancient Black African and others, ancient Black African civilizations and other human civilizations had transcended this present state of existence. Through that taboo word, through their spiritual practices. You know, Buddhism, shamanism, traditional African spirituality, even Christianity, in its truest sense. But some of our practices have become corrupted and co-opted. and defiled. And now we think somebody's out to get us. If it ain't ET, if it ain't some extraterrestrial, it's always somebody else is out to get us. So we need to defend ourselves. Oh, it's the devil. The devil is out to get me. Well, okay, so the devil is possessing that person over there. So I need to kill that person because this is. But and in all of this, how are we going to transcend?
So I just seen your former opponent and the man I call the undeniable superstar Silky D say Africa is a Berber word. Let me ask you a question, brother. This is kind of off topic, but still on topic.
Yes.
Why do you think our people, in particular, buck against any knowledge of the quote unquote motherland, the study of African concepts, and then use things like Africa is a Berber word, or Africa is comes from a European word, or whatever the case may be. They make points of saying things to that effect as if that's. I don't be knowing why it's relevant, but
it's not relevant. It's not relevant. I would agree with you. It's not relevant, but we want to be experts, right? We want to show that we know, but it's not relevant. All it's going to do is divide us, and too often we're busy bickering, and we're not looking at the big picture. That we need to come together. The stakes are too high right now. The stakes are too high right here in America. The stakes are too high globally. We need to grow up as a people. We really do. What difference does it make whether Africa is a Berber word or Libya is a Berber word or Ethiopia? What difference does it really make?
All right. If that's the word that we've been using for however many years and we've become accustomed to it, why? I don't understand why people use that as some kind of gotcha, because it's really not a gotcha.
It's not a gotcha.
Especially when it's coming from European speaking people of African descent.
Right. Exactly.
We should know better than anybody how somebody else culture, language, words, etc. Can be superimposed over someone else's.
Right. I looked at a debate. I'm not going to mention it, but that debater talked about cognitive dissonance. And back here and in the world in general, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance. No matter what evidence you present to these people, they just won't take their stance because they want to be the experts and they want to be right. But the fact is that in the scientific method, they also like to talk about the scientific method, but they don't know the scientific method. The fact is that when you're a scientist, right, and you're going into the research, all of us have biases. And for those of us who say we don't have bias, you're not telling the truth. You don't know your own bias. All of us have our own bias, whether implicit bias or explicit bias. We all have bias.
Inherently, we have. You know what I'm saying?
Inherently, DMG, the poet. Inherently, we have biases. But again, the bias is like that belief that we don't want to analyze. We don't want to question.
Yeah, it's part and parcel to who you are as a person.
Exactly. And we don't want to take that bias when you're going into scientific research and generally any type of research. We're supposed to take our bias behind, leave our bias behind, but we also bring our bias into the research because we're looking for a particular result.
Hey, brother, please continue rocking and continue your thought as well. I got to step away. I got to pay a water bill, but I'll be back ASAP.
All right, I'll continue. All right. Right. Then AI, the other point that AI brought up about my book is that this was Copilot. AI says, because my book is on the internet, right? And AI has full access to it. AI came up with this critique in a matter of seconds. But anyway, the purpose of creation, according to the author, The ultimate goal of creation is for humans to live as peaceful, loving, divine beings in harmony with nature and as ancestral wisdom. Now, some people might take this like that turn the other cheek. Yeah, somebody slap you on one cheek, you turn the other cheek and slap them on the other cheek. No, that's not what that means. Being a divine being means being in balance with the positive aspects of who we are, as well as being in balance with the negative aspects of who we are. So I'm not promoting that if somebody slapped me on this cheek, I'm going to turn the other cheek and for them to slap me again. No. You slap me on this cheek, I'm going to pull away and figure out ways to not have you slap me again. And that is also divinity. So in my tradition, there's someone called Osir. And we say that peace is my nature. Yes, peace is my nature. Because in order to have particular spiritual experiences, we have to remain peaceful, or we should remain peaceful. But not only in my tradition, in the Jewish or the Hebrew tradition, they say shalom, which means peace. In the Muslim tradition, they say assalamu alaikum, assalamu assalam. Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. In the Christian tradition, they say peace. But the fact is that we don't live it. And we understand well, inherently is written, we understand well in order to transcend, right? I just mentioned the Abrahamic traditions. Christians happened about, Roman Catholics about 2 billion, so about of the 8 billion people on the planet Earth, I'll say about 75% of them happen to have a religion or to be so-called spiritual and to be so-called pseudo. So which means at least 55% of the people, at least 65, at least possibly 75% of the people on the planet are pseudo. But they also say peace. My peace I give to you. Hotep. Assalamu alaikum, shalom, but we don't live it. But we know good and well in order to transcend, in order to have liberating spiritual experiences, we should be peaceful. But that does not mean that if somebody comes and attack you, right, somebody who has a different purpose in life than you, of course we have to defend ourselves. So don't think that when I say peace is my nature, I'm one with all, that if you come to assault me or you come to do harm to me, that I'm going to allow that. No, I'm going to live in balance, right? And then I'm going to defend myself. And some might say that it's negative. Okay, so that negative side is going to come out, right? Then,
so in other words, don't play with them.
Well, I'm grown, right? I'm self-preservation, right? The ancients didn't, we had wars. We fought, we defended our boundaries. We had to defend our boundaries, right? So when that one there, this one here, Akhenaten, this one here, we call him the heretic. Amenhotep IV, I believe he is, right? So with Amana Art, and when he went against the priesthood, the Amen-Ra priesthood, and he went back and he talked about the worship of, or the veneration of, instead of Ra, the Aten, right, which is the right, and he put himself as being, he today's monotheists say that he is the original monotheist, so he introduced monotheism. They love to celebrate this man right here, Amenhotep IV, or Akhenaten, but he was a heretic. He weakened.
Hey brother, yeah. I got him tattooed on my arm. I'm not gonna lie to you. I Akhenaten tattooed on my arm.
Okay, so tell me your understanding of Akhenaten. What's your take on
Well,
it?
I think he definitely was the architect or a heretic as it would be dubbed today, right? But I also think his ability to see the potential, how can I say, the potential advantages of one, venerating a particular deity as the first primary and then only deity in the nation, in terms of him being the high priest of that deity's following, versus what they was doing with what the Amun-Ra cult had become, with regards to how they were manipulating the throne. Him applying this particular method from a spiritual, because these were a highly spiritual people. So he eliminated that threat both spiritually and politically. And I think that was genius, if nothing else. I think he also, despite the political setbacks and military setbacks, he was still able to implement, or not implement, but contribute to the overall culture of Kemet and that society, whether it was artistically, architecturally, or spiritually. So I think he's definitely an important figure in that whole history, which was why he was one of two Nasuts that I did get a tattoo of. So that's just my 2 cents on
Nasut Biddy. So I agree, but as you said, militarily, he focused a great deal on art, Amana art, and he didn't focus enough on the military. I would also think that quite possibly the Amen-Ra priesthood did become corrupt. So he did make contributions, I would agree. Yeah. So are we alone in the universe, right? One question, are we alone in the universe? And those of us who say yes, okay, right now, just recently, a few months ago, they had a Senate hearing and they fired a Hellfire missile at one of these orbs. I forget where it was, off the coast, out in the ocean somewhere. And that missile bounced off of this orb. So right now we're having encounters. They call them unidentified aerial phenomenon. Now they don't call them. They still call them UFOs. But to say that these things don't exist, then maybe we need to do a little bit more research. That we are being visited. That they are here. And the question is, well, then why aren't they colonizing us? Why aren't they enslaving us? Because they're more advanced than that. That's not their purpose. They have transcended this state of existence. And so people, they automatically assume just because I can describe evolution and I can explain evolution and using all of these different resources at my disposal to support slow gradual change over time. The fact is that we're not alone in the universe. The Black African genome, they said there's ghost DNA there. They don't know where that DNA came from. I'm not going to start to produce, go ultra pseudo or start expounding conspiracy theories, but also here is a Paraka skull. These are actual skulls. right? Silky D was asking me the skulls. Well, Silky D, I wanted to win that debate. And this wasn't the topic that I'm talking about. This Paraka skull right here with these giant eyes and this elongated skull, a cranium that's thicker than the human cranium. It only has 3 sutures. I'm sorry, it only has 2 sutures. Meanwhile, the human skull has 3 sutures, right? These skulls are not only found in Paracas, they're found all over the globe. We don't talk about these Paracas skulls. We don't talk about the megalithic structures that, based on historically, how did those people do those things? How did they live these blocks that weigh 5 tons, 10? How did they align them perfectly that way without the use of mortar? So yes, so if we are alone in the universe, why aren't these technologically advanced being colonizing Earth at this very moment? Why aren't they doing to us what we do to ourselves and the entire planet? Okay, so as I said, most people on the planet Earth, they're pseudo. They're pseudo just like me. They happen to have a religion. They happen to be so-called spiritual. They happen to have certain experiences that can be analyzed by using the scientific method, but it's not empirical. It's not solely based on the 5 senses and instrumentation. But I should also add that we also have technology today that can measure the energy body of an individual. So for example, you have, if we talk about acupuncture, acupuncture is a science, right? It's acceptable. You can use your health insurance to get acupuncture treatment. But what is acupuncture based on? It's based on energy channel flow throughout your body and turning that needle one way to shut up that flow, or to turn it the other way to allow more chi to flow through your body. And that can be used to heal, but that's based on pseudoscience, right? But it's also based on the flow of chi, right? You also have other technology that can view the person's aura. So what I'm saying, GMG, yes, GMG.
Yeah, no, what I was gonna ask is, you said something interesting that I very rarely ever hear somebody say.
Yes.
Said they're pseudo just like me, right?
Yeah.
When you include yourself, what do you think of the use and overuse of the word pseudo in our community over the last 5 years or so?
Okay, I think that the term pseudo is meant to shame the other person. Just to bring shame. We're about shaming each other. But if you don't care about being shamed, why do you care about being called pseudo? And why we use that word so readily is because we're trying to shame the other person. To say that that person is unscientific, that person is not empirical, that they're not talking about my 5 senses, smell, touch, taste, hearing, and sight, right? That they're talking about something else, and therefore they're pseudo. But because they're talking about an experience that you have not had, or they're talking about an experience that you're afraid of, because you may or may not have been initiated into the practice of that level of peace in order to go through that spiritual experience. You may be living in that level of fear. Why you're not having the experience that other people are having, but because that's their experience. I'm not going to call anyone's experience pseudo. Just because I'm not having it, that doesn't give me the right to label their experience as being pseudo. Call me pseudo. You're just not having my experience. And we overuse it in the so-called conscious community because we're trying to label each other. We're trying to shame each other. And we do that a lot. which is fine with me. It's like, playing the dozens, whatever. Pseudo is an insult. It's like, it's the dozens, like saying your mama. Your mama's pseudo, right? It's cool.
Man, I was trying not to laugh, Steve, but you got me.
Your mama's pseudo. What can I tell you? Hey, that's what we do. I wouldn't want to be nothing else but black. I love being black.
You ain't lying about that.
Yeah, I love Black Caribbean culture, American culture. I just love being black.
Look, I had me some oxtail fries today, man, with cheese and vegetables all over it, man. Hey, listen, if you come to St. Louis, I'm telling you now, it's a Caribbean spot. I gotta have my wife text me the name so I can tell y'all where it is and what the name is. Listen, the Caribbean food and the Jamaican / Caribbean food in there, it is crazy. Yeah. I'm talking about crazy. They got oxtail fried rice. You hear me? Hey man, it is off the chain. And ain't nothing like being black in all its different forms and functions.
Ain't nothing like it.
I love why I remind people all the time when Tupac said if they could be black, then they'll switch.
Right. We just need to keep loving on each other, DMG. We just stay positive and keep loving each other. Big up to Sister Ivory and Info Warriors. Okay, so moving on. This is my book, The Third Coming of Spiritual Liberation. Now, it's available on Amazon. Now, the thing about it is that, and this is the piece, right? I didn't bother to make a slide of that, but I asked AI again.
Hey, y'all, if I may, brother.
Yes.
Y'all go on Amazon and get that book. I'm gonna go get the link because I was looking at it earlier because I didn't know it was his book until just before we went live. So I thought he was gonna be talking about a friend of his or somebody he knew or somebody maybe he was critiquing their work. I didn't know what it was, but the fact that I now know it's this brother book, I'm even more impressed. Y'all go get it. I'm gonna go get the link and put it in the chat. Go ahead, bro.
Thank you, DMG. So AI also says strength, right? Bold perspective. The book does not shy away from critiquing dominant paradigms, offering readers a lens that questions mainstream historical and spiritual narratives. Philosophical depth. By framing spiritual evolution as liberation, Hetep invites readers to consider metaphysical dimensions often ignored in academic discourse. Metaphysics. Cultural reclamation. It emphasizes the value of ancient traditions, particularly those marginalized or dismissed by Western-centric views of progress. Limitations, of course, limitations. Lack of scholarly rigor. Yeah, okay, so I'm pseudo again, I'm right. While rich in spiritual insight, the book may fall short for readers seeking academic citation or empirical grounding. I deliberately did that in order to make it more approachable. I didn't want it to be super academic with all of these citations and so on. Then generalizations, right? The critique of contemporary elites and mass control. To the entire audience out there, contemporary elites, right? Those are people who think that they're better than everyone else. They're also the billionaire class here in America. Whether or not you want to accept it, them billionaires, they want to control the masses. They want us under control because they're scared of us. So contemporary elites and mass control can feel sweeping at times, lacking nuance and differentiation between systems and individuals. That's right, lack nuance. When I first started writing, people who read it, they would say, you got to give examples. You got it. So I started putting those examples. So that nuance, it ain't there. right? The elites are the billionaire class who control the political systems, right? That billionaire class that wants to merge our thoughts, put our thoughts on the internet, so then AI can access our thoughts. They also want to put, right, they want us to merge with artificial technology, so that AI doesn't kill us, right? So when we become part of AI, then now AI needs us and we need AI, because they don't want AI to kill us.
Go watch The Matrix.
This is real. In my other debate, when I talked about the evolution of computer technology, look at what's going on now. We're in our 20s, 30s, 40s. Look at what has happened in the last 5 years. Look at what has happened in the last 10 years, right? What they call it, that company that they're going to put with the microfibers they put in your head, Neuralink or something, Neuralink, where now you can access the internet with your thoughts. Yeah, they say, okay, they'll start up talking about, oh, it's for paralyzed people. Oh yeah, all right. Then next thing they're gonna put it in everybody's heads. Then how we think right now is conspiracy theories, but when that happens, how are we going to be able to tell the difference between reality and virtual reality? And say somebody hacks that system, of course it's going to get hacked. Then we'll really be under control. Look at what's going on. Look at 7 million people out in the streets yesterday. Look at what's going on. This is what they wanted for a long time. Accessibility.
Hey, listen. Hey, I know it's a few of y'all in the chat who think y'all want to have a conversation with this brother. I think y'all may want to reevaluate it. Cedric, be careful, my brother. Be careful. You might want to reevaluate coming at this brother. I'm just saying. Go ahead, my brother. Hey, listen. Go ahead.
Pick a topic and we go at it. Anyway, accessibility, the philosophical tone and historical references may be challenging for readers unfamiliar with spiritual or Afrocentric frameworks. DMG, you were breaking down Black existentialism for me. I listened to you. I learned, right? But I am an Afrocentrist. I'm a Black nationalist. I'm a Pan-Africanist, right? I'm also a segregationist. Y'all don't want to live with me. I don't want to live with y'all either.
That's the second time you got me, man. I'm trying to be serious up here, man. You gonna do me like that? Yo, oh man, that is the realest.
The Caribbean, in the Caribbean and Trinidad, where I'm from, we really didn't have segregation like that. America was segregated, right? But that for that to tear down Black people. No, Black people were doing well, baby. Black people were doing very well.
That was the realest thing. Hey man, I gotta make a clip out of that. That was one of the realest statements ever said up here, man. Oh man.
I'm a Garveyite, DMG. I'm a Garveyite, right? So, you know, you want to separate? Not a problem. You understand? We were doing, Black Americans doing well under segregation. I'm not promoting segregation, but it wasn't all that horrible. Right?
Man, see, hey family, this is what I get for not anticipating how thorough this brother was. Listen, this is what I get. So I apologize for my laugh. I'm trying to be serious, serious journalistic integrity up here. You feel me? Serious debate league promotion. And this brother making me break the fourth wall. So I apologize. It's on me.
It's okay. We can have a good time, but yeah, so that's my summation. That's my critique. That's who I am. I debated Craig Shrugs previously about Margaret Sanger and Margaret Sanger wanting to exterminate Black people. Then I debated on your channel. The first one was on Ivory Scales. Then on your channel, we debated Google Scholar about that was Charles Darwin and Charles Darwin being a racist. And I just had another debate, which some of you may be familiar with. That was the one about evolution. where that was Silky D. And I'm not gonna, get into that one and what Silky D did not do, but you want to come at me?
Silky D, you got to come over here and get a rematch with this brother on a different topic. That wasn't good, brother. Come to the Versus series and get back in the ring with this brother, man. That wasn't good, bro.
Silky D, he about the something Bantu, Bantu, or something about the Berber thingy. But I will debate religion. I don't particularly want to. I don't because you step on people's toes, and then sometimes I might deliberately try to step on your toe. You come at me, I'm gonna come at you. And
you gotta step on their toes, Steve. You gotta step on their toes, bro.
I'm gonna try to crush their toes. That's it.
Hey, family, look, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. The brother want all the smoke when it comes to questioning his particular paradigm. Cedric, if you out there, hit that link. If y'all want to show our brother some love, come in and show him some love. But one comment at a time, you get one question. He will respond, and then we'll move to the next person. If it's only one person in here, then I'll let y'all rock out. But if we got more than one person, you get one question, he gonna respond, we're gonna move to the next person. My daughter is a gift from heaven. She just brought me some chocolate chip cookies and milk. My goodness. Thank you, daughter.
Well. If they got a question, that's fine. If not, we could close out the show and then let them come at me. Let them say they want to debate me. Let them pick the topic.
That's facts.
Either I'm with it or I'm not with it. I'm not scared. We could go.
He say he ain't scared. We got my brother Jose Caballero and my man. Listen. We got my man Jose Francis in the building. Shout out to my brother. I'm going to have him tell y'all the name of his channel so y'all can go jam with him. And we got the Versus Series academic champion in the building, Cedric Ortega. And he adjusting his collar already, y'all. It's about to be a problem.
The champ is here.
My man Jose, you got a question, comment, or what for our brother Steve?
Wow, I have a lot to say. I hear
Let's go. Let's go.
I see where the brother is going. But I will say this. Don't leave yourself open for people to call you a pseudo brother. Dot your I's and cross your T's. Stick to the academic rigor. That's the best advice I could give you. Because I'm not gonna come up here and argue with you. And tell you what I agree or disagree.
Can I just comment, Jose? It's just like the academic rigor, it still has to be at a level that's accessible, and also distill it and dilute it to the audience so they could also understand what I'm talking about or what anyone's talking about. Sometimes we can be too highbrowed, and it's just not approachable. It's not accessible. So to be a good teacher, that's part of the process as well. To know the audience and speak the audience language. You know what I mean? I appreciate the academic rigor, and I do try my best. But I need to know the subject well enough to explain it to others, to explain it to a 2-year-old, to explain it to a 5-year-old, to a 5th grader, 6th grader, and so on and so forth. I appreciate your comments, Jose. Thank you so much.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
All right, Jose, you can stay on. We'll get back around to you. Wall Street Willie just joined as well. But right now, we're going to the Versus Series academic champion. Y'all know him as the pseudo, as a member of the pseudo killers. What you didn't know was over here on Paradigm Shift TV, home of the Versus Series, he's known as the pseudo slayer. My brother Cedric, what you got for our brother Steve?
Peace, DMG. Peace, brother Jose, and peace, Wall Street. Peace to you, Steve. Interesting presentation. Let me first start by When we engage in academic discourse, it is fundamental that we remain disciplined and engage with the subject matter within the confinements. Um, you're
Agreed.
confusing you're confusing two concepts, which is theological and philosophical concepts, and methodological naturalism. Methodological naturalism is a scientific method. You spoke about the spiritual evolution, whereas let me take you down anthropological road with regards to that concept. Animism, which is still a practice in as the root of a lot of indigenous, different African spiritual systems.
I am an animist. I am an animist.
Secondly, after animism, we see in Kemet the development of the Ra, the Ka, and the Ba. Subsequently, you see the Jewish development of the Ruah and the Ruach and the Rusha, which is a different philosophical concept from spirit. Spirit and the idea of us possessing a spirit was developed by Aristotle in the 400 BCE. The idea of spirit within the concept of science, because science was not grounded in metaphysical concepts that were not grounded. When I look at you, I see a whole individual. I see Stevie Caballero. When I look at myself, I am distinct from the body. This was a profound question. Today, in modern science, we have neuroscience and evolutionary psychology. So, yes, we study the brain and the mind. Within the academic arena, the concept of spirit is no longer applicable. We talk about the hard problem of consciousness, the emergent property of the brain, which we yet have a philosophical problem grounding it, which allows for metaphysical discussion because they are based on a principle that we are all aware of. Theological metaphysical claims are arbitrary, based on presuppositions that are not grounded in anything empirical, just like AI said about your book. It lacks empirical weight. So it's not simplification. It lacks grounding. There is no evidence to support the claims you're making. That is what AI just told you.
Right.
Now, so to say we can only engage with the mind in terms of spiritualism is a bait and switch, because science understands the mind and it's called evolutionary psychology. We understand, for example, why we give agency. It's an evolutionary byproduct which allows us to have empathy. All social animals have some degree of cohesion and engagement. We humans develop a system which we call morality, which is subjective and forever changing. But these are all grounded in the sciences, whether it be the psychology, the study of the brain, the evolutionary psychology, and neuroscience. That's a discipline. Now, from a quote unquote cultural and a cultural container of ideas where you engage in these metaphysical concepts called spirituality, everything you said about one imposed system versus the other, we completely agree. I have no need for any form of spirituality because I'm grounded in metaphysical and in metaphysical and methodological naturalism. I am fundamentally a skeptic. So what is given without evidence is dismissed without evidence. When you speak about inerrant, about how science engages with outer space, we have a concept called, or science has a concept called Goldilocks zones. And we study these Goldilocks zones as far as astronomy is able to. Now, all the other metaphysical and conceptual ideas of what other beings may be like, we have no idea. We do not know the other ways that life possibly could form. We do not know if we are actually going to encounter intelligent life. However, the Voyager's satellite was a disk was placed on it that contains all the information about humans. We send out radio signals and we search the sky for radio signals, because if there's if there's an advanced culture out there, the most rudimentary thing that they would be able to have is radio technology. So this is all within the realm of science, actually engaging in seeking or investigating if there is life out there. So to say that we have this erroneous position that we are alone, what we don't have is actual evidence. So to make a claim about what they would be technologically advanced, blah, 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 that's all presupposition. That is us hypothesizing and doing philosophy.
Brother Cedric.
You had a long build. Let me get it up.
When you're ready, just let me go. When you're ready, let me know.
In terms of the movies and stuff, it is the number one thing that people have. We have instinctive fear. So you target people by addressing their fear. We do that in all aspects. So that's why the movies would paint them this way. If there is any living life forms out there, they would be subject to the 4 fundamental forces of nature equally. So to travel these distances, they would be subject to the same physics, regardless of how advanced the technology is. Space-time travel by means of light years. Andromeda is our closest neighbor, is 200 light years away. Now, that is 5, 6, 700 generations of humanity. If we would leave to go there today, humans would be extinct by the time we get there. As a matter of fact, you know that the light that we see, most likely those stars aren't even there anymore, because that light has been traveling through space for millions of years before it reaches our eyes. These are things we understand. When you want to talk about your spiritualism, I do not take that away from anyone. Human beings have 3 premises or 2 fundamental premises on which we function. We function on belief, with regards to empirical belief, and we operate on true justified belief. 1 and 1 is 2. These are the 2 principles. Our natural tendency to seek an explanation for the natural world around us led us to animism, led us to spirits, led us to gods. Science continues to develop, and that's why methodological naturalism makes no claim for or against a God, because there is no evidence to support these claims. We fundamentally understand through neuroscience and evolutionary biology that all gods are created by human imagination. So if you separate those 2 disciplines and actually get the science correct, you would have no problem here. The whole social aspect of these systems and how the European uses their supernatural belief, their belief in, for example, cannibalism versus African spiritual beliefs where we might sacrifice a goat or a chicken. To claim that the African spiritual belief is somehow demonic would mean that we were speaking the same language in terms of our belief systems. What you got is Europeans' idea of superiority and deeming other human beings inferior by means of the papal bull is why we are dealing with Christianity today. So when you speak from that perspective, I am completely 100% on your side. But what you said about science was completely and utterly false. Again, you made a statement like original human. If you make a statement like original human, you fundamentally do not understand what evolution is. And evolution and creationism, they stand opposite each other. Creationism implies agency for which you have no evidence. And we understand by means of the 4 natural forces that there's no God necessary for the event of evolution. So these two ideas, these two concepts, one is grounded empirically, and the other is a presupposition that only seeks to undermine the scientific consensus.
Okay. All right. So here in my graphic, right, you see this right here. Just about a few months ago, a month or two ago, there was a congressional hearing where members of the military, also, I forget his name, but he has a series on the internet as well. I think it's on YouTube, where these orbs, you have jet fighters, and they chase after these orbs, and one of them happened to fire a missile, and it struck this orb, and it bounced off of the orb, right? So do you have an explanation? Do you know where that orb came from?
No, science would say no. I have no idea. Especially me, I'm not into military technology. I would have no idea.
So
it's unidentified.
You would say that we're alone in the universe?
It's unidentified. It's
No.
here on this planet, and it's unidentified. What more can I say?
I'm asking you.
I don't like the question.
Are we alone in the universe?
No need to presuppose. I can simply say I do not know what it is. I have no reason to presuppose what it is.
Let's Steve get out his. Say it. Let Steve get out his full question and then respond to it. You may have the same response. You may not.
Okay. So this is empirical because it's been documented, right? We can see it here up here, so it's also captured by technology. It's empirical. It's one of the five senses. Also here, these giant blocks, right?
Let's stay with the one. Let's stay with the one. It is empirical. We have evidence of a particular phenomenon. It's unidentified. What more can you say about it?
I don't want to say anything else about it.
What more can you speculate about it without being academically disingenuous?
I don't want to say anything else about it. I would like to.
What you can say is that it's unidentified. To make a claim that it is something would be to presuppose an identification. All it is unidentified.
Okay. It's also something that, it's unidentified. So if we're so advanced and we're so sophisticated and we're alone in the universe, and the supposition is that we're also the most advanced form of life in the universe, why don't we know what this is? Why don't we know how people thousands of years in the past were able to take stones that are 10.
No. Stay right here. Stay right. Don't move. Don't move. Stay right here.
Let him get the rest out. Say it.
No. He's jumping all over the place. Let us stay by the unidentified object. Let us finish that one. Do not segue into another begging the question situation. That's flawed reasoning. So let's finish this one. So again, you're begging the question. Within that, you're presupposing things that are invalid. First of all, science, everything I explained is that we do not make the position that we are alone in the universe. So to interject that again is false. Now, you understand that anything coming into our airspace from out, we would have known it. Just like the meteor that came into our solar system, we were aware of it. So this is a phenomena that is on Earth, that is unexplained. That is it. Now, begging the question with all these false narratives doesn't support your argument. What are you attempting to say? That it is an alien? If you do that, you're attempting to identify something that we can agree on is unidentified.
Let's let Steve respond. Say it.
What I would like to say is that, so my question is, are we alone in the universe, right? To say that some folks would say that we are alone in the universe because they're not having the experience. So we're limited, or we limit ourselves based on our five senses and what we consider to be empirical.
Okay, again, that's a false narrative.
Hold
on. Let him finish responding. Say it. I'm gonna go to you, and then we need to go to Wall Street with it.
Okay. So there was a a hearing, a congressional hearing, where this evidence was shown to the congressman in the United States.
Yes,
right?
I know.
And they also say that they fired a Hellfire missile and they struck this object.
Yes,
right? It bounced right off of it, right? So yes, it is an unidentified aerial phenomenon, right? But also the American military is saying that if other countries have this type of technology, then America is in a great deal of trouble. But if other countries had this type of technology, America would be in a great deal of trouble, in the sense that America would be colonized right now. That other nation, whether it was Russia or China, would be dominating America right now. And that is not the case. So to say that it is unknown, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we need to fear it, or we need to destroy it, or that it's here to cause war.
So again, you are presupposing things without supporting
That's
evidence.
what they said at the hearing. That's what they said at the hearing.
We do not know. We do not know. You're flim-flamming. I watched the hearing.
That's what they said at the hearing.
It is unidentified. I watched the hearing.
Okay, real quick.
If we're going to have a discussion, we need to be sincere. I watched the hearing.
You just said you didn't watch it. You just said that you don't know about it. That's what you said.
Both of y'all, hold on. Said, you see what I got on the screen, right?
You cut me, DMG. When I'm getting it in, let me beat this man up. He ain't ready to deal with me. Stop trying to save this man.
But we gotta go. Hold up, Sid. We gotta go to Wall Street Willie though. And then we're gonna go back around to Brother Jose. Then we're gonna come back to you, Sid. And I gave y'all a lot of time.
Then we can deal with the megaliths.
So
you have nothing there with the UFOs.
I'm gonna keep
all
it
the
chill because the brother said
presuppositions is not valid. It's just your claim.
All right, brother said. Let me go to Wall Street Willie.
And I'm gonna keep it short, said, because you were cooking. Peace to the panel. So I wanted to basically ask two questions. One is fairly simple, a yes or no question. Like, do you believe in evolution? Because when you said that, Darwinism, you kind of did your research and you feel like it's racist, that's not something I would disagree with. But does that disprove the certain level of science that's there? So I wanted to ask you, do you believe in evolution?
Okay,
and I have one more.
May I just clarify? Wall Street, what's your name? Wall Street Willie? Wall Street Will. I'm sorry, Wall Street Will. If I just clarify, you see that word belief? To me, that's loaded, right? So it's either you know or you don't know. I prefer think. So for me, it's not based on a belief. In that other debate that I had about evolution, which was like last Sunday, I look at evolution as a slow, gradual change over time. And that's it. That things evolve slowly over time. It's not, from me, right? It's not about going directly from a chimp to a human. That's not what it's about. From my understanding of creationism, that things were meant to change slowly over time, because if they don't change slowly over time, they will not be able to survive. So things, if you ask me, things, humans, or organic life form, the physical earth, even computers, right? That things are meant to change slowly over time. If not, how are they going to progress?
So basically, you are saying you agree with the premise of evolution.
I had to teach it, and I had to make it approachable to my students. So I had to present it to them in such a way that they could understand it, as I did in my debate. So yes, I am an evolutionist. I'm also a creationist, which is not an oxymoron. For some people, it may be an oxymoron. For me, it's not.
So it kind of is for me, because I'll ask you this question, right?
Yes.
Where does Homo longi come in the creationist narrative?
Homo longi? Which one is that? I didn't hear about that.
Dragon Man.
We have fossils of Dragon Man?
It's called the Yun. It's something like the
Oh,
Yunzian
oh, you
find.
mean it's like
Basically, they
that
found
that recent one that's about 400,000 to a million years old? It's not. It's Homo. What do they call it? Homo longi? Is it? Is it? How do they know that it belongs to the genus Homo?
so when they do comparisons to previous skulls that they kind
Mm-hmm.
of gauged evolution and the time frame of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of those skulls were found in the Netherlands. Some of those
Mm-hmm.
skulls were found in other areas. So
Mm-hmm.
they find similarities between these two. But what this
Mm-hmm.
find did was
Mm-hmm.
push back the timeline of the
Mm-hmm.
entire conversation. So it
Right,
went
to about
from
400,000 to a million years.
right.
But this is the first time I'm hearing that it belongs to the genus Homo. When I
And,
saw it, yes.
no, I was just gonna add that I think if I'm and the brother can correct me if I'm wrong. I think Dragon Man go back to like 150,000 years from now. I mean,
Right. So if it's 150,000 years, then it falls within the timeline of modern humans. We're only about 290,000 years old to 300,000 years old.
yeah, it
Right. But the
says it
thing about
has
this
close
find
relations
pushed the
to both.
timeline back a million years, right? Between 500,000 and a million years,
Are we
right?
talking about the same? Are we talking about the same thing?
Yeah, we're talking about
Yeah,
the same thing.
because it says that it has close relation to Neanderthals and Homo
Correct.
sapiens.
Which are the
Mm-hmm.
ones that were found in the Netherlands, Neanderthal Netherlands, right? No surprise
Mm-hmm.
there. But
Mm-hmm.
they found a lot of similarities in this particular point in what most agree was human evolution, right?
So
So
it
if you're,
coexisted.
my question is this, if
Mhm,
you're a creationist, how do
mhm,
you separate or define Homo longi from Homo erectus? From when, at what point was
mhm,
the creation
mhm.
of man defined?
Okay, so
Does it
Cedric just came up there and he's showing himself. He also mentioned animist, right? Animism. I'm not Abrahamic, right? I'm a
No, no, no,
traditional
no,
African spiritualist.
no,
Hold
no.
on,
He's not asking you that.
let him respond. Let him respond because we got to move back to Brother Jose and back
I
around the
am a
circle.
traditional African spiritualist. So some of these creation stories that you know of, I don't necessarily adhere to them, right? The Kemetic understanding or the Kemetic tradition has a different narrative, right? And it's not necessarily that God only created the earth and in 7 days and God rested and so on and so forth. That's not that's not a traditional African perspective. I'm a traditional African spiritualist. I'm not an Abrahamic.
but when you say creationism though, it has like kind of a defined theology, some would say, or if nothing else, just a
From
kind of defined belief and philosophy.
from the Abrahamic perspective.
No, then you say you have an African
Okay,
cosmological
one person
narrative.
at a time. One person at a time.
Hold on, y'all, because we gonna swing back around to Brother Jose with a question or a comment. Then we're gonna go to Cedric with a question or a comment, and then I think the brother want to get out of here.
Yeah, I want to get out of here. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this all night.
Go
So Wall Street will. It's not coming from an Abrahamic perspective, right? There are other religious or spiritual traditions out there other than the Abrahamic perspective,
Right. And that's
right?
more or less what I was asking you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when you, whatever system of creationism you use,
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you, does it separate Homo longi and Homo erectus? Does it account for both of them? Like, I'm trying to see if
Right.
even
Okay.
African theology can fuse
Okay.
with the accepted science.
Okay. So Homo longi or Dragon Man, right? So let's just talk about that for a second. DMG is saying that it sounds like it coexisted with modern humans, right? So about 190,000 years ago. If we're 290,000 years, then we coexisted with them. When they first showed up, right? If you're saying that they first showed up a million years ago, we're absolutely sure that that genus Homo showed up 1 million years ago? Is that what the evidence is saying, Wall Street Will?
Yeah, that's what the evidence is saying. Like basically what was found in the Netherlands in terms of Homo longi, it took us back out about 300,000 years. But now they're finding things in China that, you know, through the science, they believe goes back anywhere from 500 to 1 million years ago. Now, they're not changing the overall theories involved. So the out of Africa theory, for instance, doesn't change. It just pushes the timeline back on the whole thing. But I guess I'm asking you, how do you define your creationism, and does it account for the accepted science?
What I can say, right? So there's empirical science, and then there's mythology. So in the religious or the spiritual sense, when you talk about a people's the mythos, right? You can attempt to disregard the mythos or the myths that are involved in a people's spiritual tradition. So what I'm saying is that no, in the Kemetic tradition, we don't talk about Homo elongus. We don't talk about the different versions of people, but also we're also in favor of education. We're also in favor of learning, right? So because we or a person belongs to a particular spiritual tradition, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be educated and they shouldn't be having these conversations, right? That's what I'm saying. And I, as a scientist, whether
You're not a scientist. No, don't claim that.
Okay, I'm not a scientist. I don't have a degree. I didn't teach in the classroom. I'm pseudo. As pseudo as I am, I help my students pass their Regents exam, and I also help my students to pass their AP biology exam. Right? So hold on, Wall Street Willie. That was my purpose, and I was successful at it for 26 years. Regardless of my spiritual tradition, because when I was in that classroom teaching students science as
about original man, you were teaching.
Let them get it out, because we need to
you
go
were in a classroom teaching evolution and talking about original man.
Oh my
let them get it. Let them finish it, because we got to go to Jose and then get back around to you to close this thing out.
Right. At that point, it wasn't about talking about creation. I can also tell you that here in America, before the Scopes monkey trial, what was taught in America in school was Adam and Eve. Then came the Scopes monkey trial, and then they started to say, okay, now you can start teaching evolution, right? And now they say that if someone chose, they could also talk about intelligent design. If I wanted to, I could teach intelligent.
So you are a creationist.
I did, Cedric.
Hey, brother Jose, you got a question or a comment before we get out of here?
My comment is,
yes, Jose.
My comment is, Steve, you're letting them take you down a rabbit hole. Don't do that.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole with them.
Let me tell you what the problem is. You're talking to two brothers who've never read a primary Kemetic text in their life.
I'm sorry. Speak up, please.
You're talking to two brothers who never read or looked at a primary Kemetic text in their life, so they don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Why would you make that assumption?
It's completely non sequitur to the discussion. Emotionally charged rhetoric. This dude claiming they call themselves black. That's his whole basis.
Have you watched it?
Blackology.
Hold up, y'all. Jose, finish your question or comment to Steve, and then we're gonna go around the section so we can get out of here.
That was my comment to Steve. They're trying to take you down a rabbit hole, and if you question them on primary text, they can't answer the questions properly because they've never read them. They can't, because he's asking you a silly question that is a non sequitur question that has nothing to do with anything in ancient times. They would have known the word. They would have had no way to express those words.
Right.
So while they're trying to sound smart, they're not sounding very smart at all. And that's the reason why they haven't recommended text. Because they're familiar with the text, you don't ask those questions to other people who are familiar with the text.
Because you're simply based in the text and you don't deal with science.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you're completely irrelevant.
All right.
Yes, Cedric.
Real quick, Cedric.
Yes.
Question or comment to Steve, and then we're gonna let Steve respond before we wrap this thing up.
Steve, do your homework. If you're engaging in academic discourse, like your chat GPT told you, you lack empirical grounding. You assume your ideas are valid. Your whole diatribe about what these extraterrestrials supposedly can do, and that means you don't fundamentally understand the four fundamental forces. You try to shoehorn your spiritual system within the academic or scientific rigor, which is methodological naturalism, making claims that within the academic field we do not study or cannot study the mind, and you're superimposing arbitrary, unsupported, archaic ideas trying to explain reality. You yourself said you're an animist. You know what that means? You think the trees talk with intent. You think the water has agency. That's fine. That is fine. I believe I can fly. But don't conflate science with your arbitrary belief system. I do not undermine anybody's belief system. What I say is don't conflate the two. I am an atheist. Spookism is spookism. That is not the discussion. From a sociological perspective, I agree with you. The European had no right to impose their philosophical and their supernatural ideas on anyone. Doesn't make any of those supernatural concepts grounded in methodological naturalism. The fact that they were arbitrary and could not provide results is why eventually we developed science. And everything we do in this world today is grounded in empirical evidence. As your own book says, your lack of academic rigor and your lack of
all right, let's let Steve respond.
Now, when you up here, you gotta let me get it out, DMG. They challenging me, they're gonna be worthy. They're gonna handle this because I'm not gonna debate.
Well, no, it's not. I think the brother would. I'm not to speak for him, but it's not that he can't handle it. It's that we got to get out of here. But, and what I go wrap it up if you had more.
That was it.
Yeah. No, I don't want y'all to be
full stop.
I don't want y'all to be cut short at all. So, hey, I think Steve versus Sid would be an epic confrontation. So, my brother Steve, you heard what Cedric said. You heard what Wall Street Willie said. Even what brother Jose said. I'm going to let you respond to whatever you want to respond to and get ready to close this. Go ahead and close this thing out. Let the people know where they can find you, what you represent in terms of the info warriors, all of that good stuff. And whether or not you think they can potentially see you again in the Versus series. Hey, Cedric, read the screen, man. Read the screen, Sid. Go ahead, Steve.
That's why when I'm punching them in the mouth, you gotta let me do it. Because they think you put a come get it.
Okay. I got you, Sid.
Come get it. So beat the brakes off you for days.
I know that we all don't have to be having the same experiences, right? So to say that I have to be having the same experience as everyone else.
Did anybody hear me say that?
No, say it. Let him finish up.
When he was talking, I didn't interrupt him, right? So we don't have to be all having the same experience. And because someone has an experience that is defined as spiritual, I don't think that they should also be labeled as being pseudo. Also, I don't need validation from Cedric. I know where I spent 26 years of my life, and I know I have a degree in what I have a degree in. And also, I don't need to be an atheist. And as Ivory Scales put up the belt, I am part of Info Warriors. in medicine, there is a double-blind experiment, right? So there's a reason why they carry out a double-blind experiment. And in that double-blind experiment, where they give someone a sugar pill, right? So say 4 people get the real medicine and the fifth person gets a sugar pill. And that fifth person, like he talks about evolutionary psychology, why that fifth person becomes healed is because they believe, or they think, right? They have faith, they have hope, right?
Wrong again. You execute. I'm gonna cut you off anytime you misrepresent science, bro. I'm that dude. I'm gonna cut you off every time.
Cedric,
I'm
Cedric, let him close out, brother. Let him close out.
You're not gonna misrepresent science with me on this part.
Let him close.
I won't allow it.
Let him close out, brother. Don't do that, bro.
Misrepresent the science.
Let him close out, man. Let him close out.
He's disrespectful. He doesn't understand etiquette. I'm done. Whatever he want to bring, let him bring. I'm with it. I'm done.
Better be done. Can't flim flam around me. You crazy. I'm never gonna
He said, hey, Cedric, hold up, Sid. Don't miss what
nothing called a double-blind experiment. There's nothing called a double-blind experiment.
You're talking about the placebo effect.
That's right.
You're talking about the placebo effect. And you're using words like heal. You're using words like heal with the placebo effect.
Everybody hold on. Listen, I don't want Cedric to miss what Steve just said. He said, whatever you want to do, he with it. He from Info Warriors, see? So
cut me off, DMG. If he gonna get it, then he gotta deal with this. If
and
he's
Steve, unmute your mic,
let me punch him in the mouth.
Unmute your mic. Go ahead, say Steve, if you can stay and respond, and then I'm gonna let you get out of here, brother.
On to what?
This brother up here misrepresenting science. I'm gonna stop him in real time. He is talking about the placebo effect, and they do that to eliminate confirmation. They do that in science to eliminate confirmation bias. However, when you use words like heal, brother, you're flim-flamming. Heal.
We need to put this debate together.
Temporary feel good because they assume that they're getting the medication and they feel better. Healed, they don't know. Spontaneous remission is a completely different category, and that's only within certain paradigms of illnesses. But when you're talking about a double blind, the placebo effect is measured just to ensure that there's no confirmation bias. But nobody gets healed. They measure that feel good effect. Come on, bro. You ain't ready. You ain't.
Let Steve respond.
I'm here. I'm gonna correct you every time.
Now he didn't say nothing. He didn't say nothing while you was talking. Said let Steve respond.
Let's come up with a debate topic where I have an introduction. I have 15-minute rounds, and I have a summary, a closing, and then a question and answer. Let them come. Let's agree on a debate topic. I don't want to do that right now, but we can agree on a debate topic. I'm not doing that.
I got you. Hey, Steve, I got a negotiation room. I'll get y'all in there and we can hash out that topic, brother.
That's fine.
Go ahead and close out. You were saying that you with the Info Warriors. What else can people find you? And I put the link to the book in the chat. So y'all make sure y'all go get this brother book. Let them know what else you got going on, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also a real estate agent. I'm Paradigm Ship, Info Warriors. Yeah, I'm in the back chat occasionally. You know, that's fine with me. We could get this on and popping. I'm not gonna be scared of him because he whatever. I don't even want his belt. In all honesty, it's not about his belt. You understand what I'm saying? But to say that I'm not a scientist, that I haven't. You have many scientists who are creationists. You know, that I could do that. I could just start listing scientists who are creationists. I mean, everybody doesn't have to be like Cedric. You know, he just want to control people because he want people to be like him. I'm not going to be like him.
Cedric, hey man, he say it ain't even about the chip, brother. I'm gonna get y'all in the negotiation room. We're gonna come up with a topic, and we're gonna make this thing happen. My brother Steve, I cannot thank you enough for coming on, putting down your information. I got to get you back on here. Shout out to my sister Ivory for making that link.
Big up to Sister Ivory. Big up to Sister Ivory. That's my girl.
And yeah. Shout out to the queen, man. Appreciate you, sis.
She a queen.
That being said, family, y'all know, man. We got something big coming up this weekend. We have the Night of the Living Arguments. It is our October premium live event right here on Paradigm Shift TV 314. Y'all keep coming out to rock with us like y'all did for Debate Mania. And we're going to try to start monetizing these things. And it ain't going to be much. I'm talking like between $5 and $10. We're going to make them quarterly because we also have a brand new show that's going to be bi-weekly because we want to give the debaters time to come up with their topics, make their presentations, etc. But it's going to be a bi-weekly flagship show. That means the premium live events that I had for every month that I wanted to do, we're going to make those quarterly. So you'll have Debate Mania, Night of the Living Arguments, and 2 more during the quarter sections of the year. So the next Debate Mania will probably be between January and March of next year. And we'll proceed like that. But this is the show that I'm talking about that I want y'all to start tuning into on a bi-weekly basis, starting with either our man Cedric defending the Versus Series academic title against Zion the Lion, or it may be Neo Love versus Deron Tillis. Either way, we're going to bring this thing to you bi-weekly, and here's a little snippet of what y'all can expect. Hey, shout out to my man Vincent Mueller, always in the chat showing love. Shout out to each and everybody that showed up for this show with our brother Steve. Remember to go get that book on Amazon. Shout out to my brother Cedric, my brother Jose. And yeah, man, listen, the Versus Series Prime bi-weekly show we're going to do every other weekend. We're going to do it every other weekend because we want to give the debaters time to come up with the topic and create the presentations and get on that joint. As y'all know, a brother been in the red for a little minute, but I'm about to be back in the black. Shout out to all the debaters that been patient with your boy. You know, I always be transparent with y'all, and I hope y'all transparent with me. That being said, hopefully we can make this debate between Steve and Cedric for one of these upcoming Versus Series Prime or these premium live events. Speaking of premium live events, this weekend, Night of the Living Arguments is coming to y'all right here on Paradigm Shift TV 314 as y'all depart out of here. As we go our separate ways, we wish y'all nothing but peace. Shout out to the Candy Coated Toes. And y'all look at this preview for this weekend's Night of the Living Arguments. The world title will be on the line when Pan faces Lucifer. And there's a match with title implications coming on night 2 between our brother Big Hemi, the biblical barbarian, and the anonymous Hebrew. Title implications all around. Night of the living arguments. Y'all be here for it. Till next time, it's your brother DMG the Poet. It's our brother Steve, our brother Sid, and our brother Jose. That's peace.
I can ask you a question, DMG. You hear me?
But before I get out of here, go ahead.
Yeah. Am I going to be able to come on and do a presentation to respond to some of the challenges that I had from some of these brothers? Or...
Absolutely. You say when.
I'm not sure, but we could talk in the background and see what's going on and decide when is good for you and how long I might need. I figure I might need at least a week or two.
Okay. I got you.
And I think I wanted to do individual responses, but I don't think that. What do you think? I should individual.
If you want to do individual responses, of course I'm all for that because it's more content for me. Plus, it'll give you a chance to focus on each individual in their respective places, and we could just do a series: part 1, part 2, part 3, etc.
And I'm just letting you know, DMG. You're saying that you want me to come into this thing and do debates.
I do.
Now, whatever happens from here, I'm blaming you. It's your
Hey,
I don't want to do it.
Hey, brother, put that blood on my hands, brother. Put that blood on my hands.
Because I really didn't want to do it, but the last time I was on here, you see I got jumped. You see a man tell me I can't read and understand academic orders and all.
I remember, brother. Listen. Hit me up. I will take the blood on my hands, wipe it on my shirts. I'm gonna put it everywhere except my face. So that being said, when you ready to do it, let me know. My brother Steve, any last words?
Thank you, DMG. It was an honor and a pleasure. What's the young brother's name right there who was just talking? Don't pay them no mind. Just do your thing, brother. Just do your thing. That's it. We got you. Don't pay them no mind.
Well, I recognize that because I'm quiet and I'm not rah-rah, they think I don't know what I'm talking about.
Just bring your information, man.
And they're gonna learn, Brother Steve.
Yes, bring your information, bring your knowledge, my brother. Don't even mind them. Don't mind them. Just do your thing.
You think our brother got some potential as an info warrior, Steve?
Well, he come over there. Not a problem.
Well, you might not know, but I'm kind of already affiliated, if you will.
Okay, not a problem.
I don't have a problem with saying I want to be affiliated with more than one group.
Right.
I'm kind of affiliated.
Nah, it's also about, you understand what I'm saying? It's about getting paid too. I mean, they be cash apping or whatever. Just do your thing and make sense and have people feel that you in.
I wouldn't mind you guys pulling me in a room and introducing me.
Yeah. Jose Francis, you sound Caribbean. Where you from?
Nah, you wouldn't believe I live in Trinidad and Tobago, but I'm from the.
Yeah, Trinity. Yeah, big up to Trinity.
I'm not really
coming all the way from Trinity.
I'm not really a Trinidadian. Everybody thinks I'm Trinidadian, Guyanese, Barbadian, Jamaican, all kind of things.
But what are you?
I'm American from Brooklyn.
Nah, you hang with too many Caribbeans, man.
I've been living in Trinidad for 20 years, Steve.
Yeah, Trini. Big up to Trini. I that Trini. How you been?
DMG InfoWars is that's your thing?
No, that's my sister. That's my sister Ivory. But we closely affiliated. You're gonna see some of her debaters over here. So I think that'll be a good place for you to come in and you can learn up under brothers like Steve, spar with them, and just sharpen your skills. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. But don't make me get in trouble because technically I'm already affiliated. And I don't want to get in
trouble. You can be. Hey, brother, you told me I could be a Christian and a Kemetic practitioner. So you can be affiliated with more than one thing.
So you just gonna throw my own words back in my face?
Yeah, hey, that's how you do it, baby.
All right,
this is why I say I love you, but I can't stand you sometimes. I really can't stand you.
I appreciate it. Hey, brother.
You know what you do, DMT? You hype me up, then you come. Then when I'm hype up in the middle again, hype up, start talking about your grandmother. You can't do that, DMG.
Hey man, don't be putting my strategy out for everybody to know, man. Listen, that's my go-to with you, Leandre. That's my go-to with all of y'all, man. Listen, when it get a little hot, when I can tell it's about the top about to blow off, I invoke my sweet lady, my sweet granny. May she rest in peace, and it disarm all y'all.
I know you did it on purpose.
But that being said, man, we're going to get out of here, family. We appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in. Stay back for a little bit. Check out this promo for Night of the Living Arguments, and we hope to see y'all there this Friday and Saturday. Till next time, that's peace. We out of here. Y'all going to see more of my brother Jose and more of my brother Steve. Trust and believe that like you believe in Jesus. We out of here. That's peace.
Culinary Arts School, I'm gonna put the heat to Pan. He know what's coming his way. I want to talk about that Pan-African shit when he was talking about Afro-Ukrainians, Afro-Sri Lankans. I want to talk about that, man. I think this dude got a serious race problem. I want to have a discussion, a debate about that, man. Put that on the line. You believe that race connects all these people, that they're all the same? Afro-Sri Lankans are the same? You think Afro-Ukrainians, everybody's the same? Is that what you think, man? What's connecting all these people? Your idea of race. Is the idea of race even real? Is that something tangible? Is that something that we can look and examine?
Lucifer, the devil is at your door. Talk to him.
Yeah, you know what it is. Super Pan Man, wild as a Taliban. Salute everybody in the audience. Salute the Pan fans. Salute my opponent. Salute his fan. What was he talking about? But yeah, I don't address cousin. He can see me in the ring and get his head knocked off. It's just nothing. He's just another victim. And his pomp and circumstance that he's trying to come in is just gonna make it. It's gonna make it harder for his ego after I whoop his ass.
This October, the mind games return. Two of the most dangerous thinkers in the Versus series step into the arena. Lucifer, the rebel intellect who questions everything. Standing in the way of the devil's glory is Pan, the reigning world champion, the Pan-African hero of the people, who must become something unholy to face something unholy. Enter Candy Pan. But can the champion's alter ego stand against the most sinister debater in the Versus series? The topic? Is race fake? One says race is the illusion. The other says it's an undeniable part of reality. On October 24th, only one truth survives, Night of the Living Arguments, where weak arguments go to die. Night of the Living Arguments Night to October 25th. This Halloween season, the scriptures shake, and the spirits of doctrine rise from the grave. Mr. Debate Mania himself, Big Himmy, the biblical barbarian, returns, sword in hand, ready to defend the faith with fire and fury. But standing across the stage, cloaked in mystery and ancient knowledge, the anonymous, Hebrew the unseen scholar rises from the shadows to challenge the very roots of Christianity itself. The topic: do the writings of the Apostolic Fathers corrupt biblical Christianity? When belief meets bloodshed and conviction faces corruption, only one will leave the arena standing. Night of the Living Arguments, where weak doctrines go to die, October 25th, the Versus Series Debate League. Be there or be buried.